So last week we talked about when our battery's feeling low and our energy's drained, keeping an eye on the things that are taking our energy away. And this week I'd like to talk about making sure that we're plugged in to things that renew our energy when our energy's level is low or when our battery feels run down. One of the things that I think is important to be aware of is where we fall in the introvert-extrovert spectrum. I think a lot of people have the mistaken idea that introversion and extroversion is about being socially adept, when there are plenty of introverts who are great at being social. It's really about what takes our energy and what renews our energy. So for introverts like myself, I can be fine in social situations. I can be relatively adept at social situations. I think a lot of people might not know that I'm an introvert, but it takes energy for me to be around large groups of people, and I need to make sure that I get plenty of alone time to recharge my energy. On the other end of the spectrum, I have friends and know people who are total extroverts and who really thrive on the energy of crowds and being around people. And if they're alone too much, then that drains their energy. So keeping an eye on where we fall in that spectrum and if we're getting our needs met as far as social time and alone time. When we look at social time, we want to be aware of having real connection, so being around people who share our values and who we build trust with over time. People who support us and uplift us. It's really important to be connected to those people. And for those introverts out there, it's important to keep an eye on going into the isolation zone and getting time that we need for ourselves. Another way that sometimes falls by the wayside when our battery's feeling low is being connected to our creativity and our sense of play and fun. I think sometimes we think, for those of us who don't have what are traditionally creative jobs, like an artist or graphic designer, we think, I'm not a creative person. We're all creative people. We all have creative energy, and it's important for us to find ways of expressing that, whether it's like taking a class, it could be writing in a journal, it could be painting at home, it could be cooking, it can be a lot of different things, but making sure that we're in touch with creative energy and expressing that creative energy. We also, another thing that can fall by the wayside when our energy's feeling low are the really simple things that we can do to take care of our mental health, our spiritual health, and our physical health. And I think sometimes we think of that as like really big things, like, like going on a yoga retreat or something. When our energy's low, that may look like checking in with ourselves and doing what we can to take care of ourselves with the resources we have available right then, which might mean going and taking a shower that day when we don't really feel like we have energy to do it, or going to the couch to watch TV instead of lying in bed all day. So it can be really small things of ways of taking care of ourselves, but those are things that can fall by the wayside when our energy's feeling low. So when your battery's low, we talked last week about keeping an eye on things that drain our energy. This week we talked about making sure that we're plugged into things that renew our energy. And so it's really kind of a comprehensive, we want to look at it from all sides when our energy is low. And it really comes down to being compassionate with ourselves and taking really great care of ourselves. So I hope this is helpful for you. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day.